Hi folks, it's time for some Friday fun in the Row 5K every day. Now remember, I'm the one rowing 5K here. You might go further than me, you might go less than me. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're spending around about 21, 22 minutes worth of time rowing and thinking about technique, putting in some work, and that's going to set up your day and your rowing much better, okay? The fun part is that I'm using the RowMo handles for this row today. I made a video review of them last week, but I haven't actually done a proper long-ish row with them. It was all just kind of tests, so I'm going to do that today. I'll talk a little bit about them, but this is not a sales pitch. There is an affiliate code and all that kind of stuff if you're interested, but I'm not going to turn this into a sales pitch, all right? So I'm just going to really talk for like a minute, just so you know what they are. But let's get our machine set up first. Go to drag factor, resistance, whatever your machine uses, and set it where you want it to be. You want it to be at a point where you feel connected to the stroke, but you don't have to tug and heave against it, but at the same time, you're not flapping through the wind. Then go to, what's next? Foot stretchers, foot stretcher height. I don't think I've ever even forgotten that. I usually get it wrong, but I don't forget it. Set them to a height where you're able to come into the front of the machine with your shins in a vertical position comfortably, and take a look at your heels. If your heels are coming way off, chances are you've got your foot plates too high or your posture is bad. If you're all tucked back, see what happened here? Shins vertical, but my heels are way up because my hips are pointing backwards. You want to be up, sitting up on your sit bones, more towards the front of the seat than to the back. That's going to help that posture, all right? And then finally, if you're using a proper handle, the proper Concept 2 handle or whatever, go for shoulder width, okay? With your fingers loosely hooked over. So I can show you, even though I've got these on, I can show you like that. Nice, fingers hooked over, all right? So I'm going to hit start on imersURow. You'll see it full screen for a second as I try and cover the dodgy cut. And we will get started. Well, let's just, you know what, I'm just going to stick with this view, all right? Because we've never shown this one before. Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Now, I am quite chilly today. Are we moving? Yes. I'm quite chilly today, so I am keeping my shell on. Apologies if you came to look at a middle-aged man's puny biceps. So, right, here's quickly what I'm going to say about the RowMo handles. These have been designed really with two things in mind. To maybe make the stroke feel a bit more like it would if you were in a scull, by having independent movement rather than having a fixed stick, which is what they call it on the website, bizarrely, of the Concept 2 handle. But also to allow people with wrist mobility issues. Maybe you can't row with your wrists flat like this, in which case maybe you want to row with your hands sideways. Turn it into more of a seated row gym machine. Now, we all agree this isn't how you row. We try to do this in a boat, things will go slightly pear-shaped. But for rowing machine rowing, if doing this is the only way you can get cardio exercise, okay, maybe because your wrists don't allow that kind of flat orientation, then they're worth it. So what I said in the review video is that if you can get on the machine rather than being like, oh, I used to love rowing, but my wrists can't take it anymore, and suddenly rowing with this hammer grip allows you to get back on the machine, then it's worth looking at. Last thing to say is I can definitely feel my shoulders, my delts are getting a much more activated workout today compared with other days. Oh, and one last thing, and then I'm done. It does remove a couple of inches of compression into the front. I can feel the handle banging off the chain guide from time to time, which isn't ideal, but again, I'd rather that because it will stop over compression. So, because that's usually the problem with technique, is when people slide too far, thinking that really kind of diving, lurching into the front of the machine, those extra couple of inches would be beneficial. Pace-wise, what am I at? 210, 212. I think I'm maybe losing a couple of seconds in pace, maybe because of the reduced stroke length, I don't know. But then I do have arms like a gorilla. I've got quite a large ape hang index, so maybe you wouldn't have the same issue. Anyway, so you can see imersURow running in the background. Looks nice and pretty, doesn't it? It's just on the, I guess, are we going forwards? Yeah. So it's slightly odd view, but again, not everybody likes the backwards view. So just like to mix it up. Apologies for those who did yesterday's workout and were watching going, he keeps talking about Exer being in the background. It's a black screen. I had switched off the Exer overlay. Basically, so I filmed this. Here's like an insider bit. I film the workout, and then when I'm done, I then spend 30 seconds posing on the machine trying to get the thumbnail image for the video. But then in the edit suite, I'll unpack this a little bit. You might be interested. Then I'll talk technique. I'll just spend a couple of minutes on this. The way I set up the video tracks when doing a green screen is, think of building a brick wall. At the very bottom of the wall is the background plate. So that's the room that we're currently in, with the big kind of TV, big square for a TV in the background. Then on top of that, if it's got a shiny floor, the room, then I will create two more tracks, two more video tracks, and two more layers of bricks. The first layer is imersURow or Exer or whatever I have playing in the background, resized, cropped down to fit into the shape of that TV that's in the background. And then the layer above it is a flipped version of that, of the imersURow or whatever app, and then moved down underneath the screen so that it looks like a reflection. If you look at the workouts from last week, you'll see that happening because I had a shiny floor. And then the fourth layer of bricks, the fourth track, is then this, me. And I film all of this on a green screen. I've got to stop pointing, I can't get my hands back into the handles again. I film this on a green screen, so in the edit suite, I basically just say, everything that's green, remove. And cut it away. Something called alpha. Alpha is the information about what shouldn't be there. So everything that's green becomes see-through. And then you look, it's like a swimming pool. You then look down from this video layer down through all the other ones. So down from this one into the app screen and then onto the background. And that's compositing. So I filmed this, I then set up the entire video tracks and timeline for the duration of what I filmed. But when it comes to those thumbnails, oh, we're at 2,000 meters, like the YouTube thumbnails, I want nothing behind them. So it's just me. So I turn off the video layer that has the room and the video layer or layers of the app, so that it's just me and the machine with the green removed, so that I can take that into Photoshop and put the kind of colourful, it's almost like an aurora borealis, isn't it? Kind of just colour behind me and text and the 5K Everyday logo. This is a really long story to explain why you couldn't see X-ray yesterday. But basically, I did the edit yesterday, got to the end, set up the export for the thumbnail, which meant I had to turn off everything. And then went to render the main workout, and although I turned the room background back on, I hadn't turned the extra screen that is resized into the kind of big TV in the back. At least you still saw me. But the problem is that I don't often babysit the, what was it, crashed? Oh no, it's on a 2K race again. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going, okay? How are we gonna know when 5K is up? So I think, right, okay. You keep rowing. How am I going to do this? I need to see my PM5 so I know when the 5K is up. Which means, all right, I'm going to stop for a couple of strokes. You keep going, all right? Don't stop just because I have. Luckily that wasn't screwed on. Where's my monitor? Flip you up. There we go. Keep rowing. Don't stop. Oh, this is the comedy of errors week. Okay, I'm going to go in 3, 2, 1. Continue. Now I know that's user error, but on the imersURow app, there's two options. There's like quick row that just takes you into a row, and then there's custom row. And that's twice now that I've gone through, picked the course and set up the pace boats, all that kind of stuff. And it's just not dawned on me that it's set up as a 2K race. My brain just thinks, because I'm doing this kind of custom setup, that it's just going to be a just row, like I should be clicking race or row or something. So it's entirely a John issue. This isn't a imersURow issue. unless they do kind of think from a user experience, would other people fall into that trap? Should there be 3 options? The quick setup, and then custom just row, and custom race for idiots like me. And I'm in that mindset right now because I'm making another app. This is going to eventually be part of the RowAlong app, but right now I'm making it as a standalone. And so I am in the mindset of what's the best user experience. So you've now just got imersURow sitting there doing nothing right now, but hopefully you saw enough of it anyway. Right, we are coming up for 14 minutes in, and I haven't done a technique checkup, so let's do one. Starting at the finish. I want you to get the handle into sternum height, wrists flat, which might mean elbows slightly out in order to keep wrists flat. That's one thing that these handles do promote quite well, is that because you're pulling quite straight into yourself, you have to pull slightly out to clear your chest. But once the handle touches your chest, let it come away smoothly, but still instantly. Okay, you can see I'm not throwing it away. I'm finishing, letting it come away at the same pace I brought it in at. And as I release the handle, I sit up. And really, everybody out there watching right now, do this for me. Handle up. Handle up. Because really, the forwards tilt over your hips kind of takes care of itself as the handles continue going forwards. Well, they do for me, as long as you think handle, sit up. It's so important you reset that posture. And then once the handle travels past your knees and your head is about to pass your knees, bend your knees. Notice it's a nice fluid movement here. I'm not jerking through any of the parts of the return. Everything flows from arms to sitting up to tilting to knees. I'm not going arms, body, legs. Then roll in until shins are vertical. And the moment you hit shins vertical, I want you to push the machine away with your feet. And that, thinking about pushing, should mean that you are more likely to keep your arms straight and the forwards tilt as you drive with the legs. Push. And then when your leg drive is about halfway, that's when you finally swing your back. Oh. And then pull in your arms. So I had 2 strokes there just trying to work out where my backswing was, whether I'd changed it because of these handles. There's something different feeling, but anyway. Right, so I've just passed 4,100 meters. So I figure got just under 4 minutes to go with today's, well, with me rowing. You can, of course, continue to row. Ooh. So I will just quickly, right, so just to wrap up the RowMo thing, so that's what that brain fart was about. They are comfortable handles to row on. I'm definitely getting activation through my delts that I don't normally get, like up here. I don't normally get with a standard handle. It's a comfortable rowing movement. I do feel that I am missing just those 1 or 2 inches at the front. But like I said, that could just be because I'm so used to having a slight overcompression that these are actually helping me to fix. And I am at 2:09 pace right now. So I do think usually I would, by this point in the row, I tended to get to around about 2:05, 2:06 once my body has warmed up. So I don't know whether I am losing 1 or 2 seconds from using these, whether it's just a technique thing. Maybe I'm swinging my back too soon or something. I will watch the video back. I'm not going to put the blame firmly on the handles. But like I said, if these just get you back and rowing again, then 1 or 2 seconds pace change versus not being able to row at all. I'll take those 1 or 2 seconds. So, it's a Friday. That means it's spag bol night. Spaghetti bolognese for the fam. And then continue watching the pit. The Noah, is it Weil or not Wiley? Never pronounce it, remember if it's a hard E or not, but the medical show. It is very good. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, then I do recommend seeking it out, which unfortunately in the UK does mean trying to seek it out. All right, 1 more stroke. I'm done with the 5K. Oh, you know what? I am going to do some light rowing. Not that it matters with imersURow not running anymore. I'm going to have to manually enter these meters into the logbook anyway. Whew. Yes, one of the advantages of being in Canada in October was being able to get hold of the Series 1 of the pit while I was there. So that's what Julie and I have been watching. And it really is, if you like a medical drama, it really is good. And we were talking about it last week, kind of saying, what is it that makes this so good? And there's lots of elements. Like, I think he as a main character is just, he just plays a doctor well ever since his ER days. So you just enjoy watching him as a doctor. But the other thing is, they let the script and the action and what's happening be what makes you feel. That's where the drama comes from. Julie watches another series called The Resident. I know I'm chatting about stuff, but I'm just giving you enough time to finish, in case you didn't finish the. In fact, I'm going to go into normal. The handles do kind of bang off the chest. Hang on, they're meant to be able to store them off these hooks at the top. All right, there's one. Hang on, I will continue my story in a second. There's two. All right, okay. It does feel weird holding the handle again. No, so Julie watches another medical drama called The Resident, which I can't get into. And we were talking about it, I think I know why. It's because every time something dramatic happens in The Resident, it goes, dum dum da. Basically, there's like music constantly telling you how you're supposed to feel. Which is that is a thing you do when I'm editing This Farming Life. There's music running through, like, I'd say 2/3 of the program has music on it. And it is there to let you know how you're supposed to feel. Is this a fun part? Is this a sad part? Is this a dramatic part? Is this busy or whatever? And that's how, when I'm picking music, that's what I think. I think, right, what do I need energy-wise here? What matches the tone of the scene? And then you start to pick the actual track itself. So music works in that way, but it has become kind of quite wallpapery, especially in drama programs like The Resident, where this music is like, and it's like a full stop to a scene. Something happens and it goes do 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 dum. Wide shot of the hospital, cut to interior of another place. Okay, it's really paint by numbers editing that way. Like someone's at a hospital bed and they're like, we don't know if he's going to make it. He's got angiophlophones of his flupulums. They may fall off. Concerned look between the two devastatingly attractive doctors. Dum 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 dum. Maybe like that dum is like the monitor beeping in the background or something. Or a concerned look from the patient going, what's happening here? But yeah, as the music decays, dum, you cut to an exterior of the hospital with like maybe an ambulance meow, coming in through the doors to kind of help with your music edit, to kind of tuck away the decay of the music. And then the next shot is like, maybe it's the reception in the ER, and it's all suddenly busy, and it's like the fun, cheery receptionist or whatever. Maybe she's flirting with the nurse, or who knows. But that's kind of how you do it. That's kind of really like I say, the paint by numbers way to edit drama is just to kind of use music and shots and holds and whatever. Whereas The Pit does not do that. The Pit's almost like a fly on the wall documentary, if you haven't seen it. Very little music. Everything just moves from scene to scene within the pit, the kind of the ER area. I can't remember what they call it again, the circle? No. Anyway, so there you go. Today's been brought to you by various ways to make television entertainment, from green screen to hospital dramas. Next I'll tell you about editing Tea in the Park in a truck. Okay, I've just hit 27 minutes. I know that that's going to be different because of the time that I stopped to sort out the apps. I apologize unreservedly for the fact that this now makes it 2 days in a row where I've made an error. I was about to use the C-O-C-K word just then, where something's gone wrong. My apologies. Next time I come back to imersURow, I'll make sure and think about what I'm doing and set it properly. Although I am going to email Charles and say to him, I used your app today just to let you know I messed up. But you might want to consider having making it clear for the people like me that are in a rush. Because the thing is that I come into the studio, I sit down, I program it, I put the iPad on the floor, and then I say, hi there, and welcome to a 5K, okay? So I'm like a million miles an hour, can I get this, getting this stuff sorted. And so it's easy, if it's easy to miss something in an app, I think it's an idea to approach it, to kind of think, right, if that's easy to miss, then should we look at it? Chances are they might not. They're just going to go, what's that damn fool up to again? Can I say the D word? Is that allowed? Oh, sorry. What's that fool up to again? And maybe they won't change anything, but it's worthwhile. I think feedback. I mean, to be honest, I don't know. So I released, right about this time last year is when I released the RowAlong app. If you haven't checked out, do check out. But I don't know if I'm missing feedback, because apart from the Facebook group where I got feedback, I've not heard anything from people about it. So I don't know if there's somewhere that people are saying, oh, this isn't quite right, that I should be checking. If you're an app developer, tell me where I'm supposed to be looking, because I'm barely a rower. I'm barely a TV editor. I'm definitely not an app developer. It's all seat of the pants stuff. Basically, seat of the pants productions. Maybe I should just rename everything to seat of the pants. Or the rowing idiot. I've said that one before. Anyway, I'm done. So I'm going to go have a shower, and then going to have some peanut butter on toast, and I'm going to have a nice orange juice to hydrate, and then I'm probably going to have a cup of coffee. I suggest you do similar. You can pick whatever you want to eat, though, don't worry, or drink. You don't have to follow what I'm having, but I'm suggesting you have a shower, something to eat, and something to drink. And my daughter, Jamie, she is at home studying again today, so she will probably surface, what's the time now, about what, 9 o'clock? She'll probably surface in a couple of hours. When I see her, I'll tell her I love her. And I suggest same for you. Call your mum, your dad, your daughter, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your dog, whatever. And at one point, just going to say, or even at the end of the phone call, just go, right, love you, bye-bye. Even saying it like that is enough. I've said before that my very last words I said to my mum when she was on her deathbed, the very last thing I said to her was love you. And it was actually it was just words that came out of my mouth. I'd not said I love you to mum for like decades. But I'd said to her, I said, I'm going to go home, get a shower, bent in, gave her a kiss and said, love you. It's just because that's what we do in our house, and so it became a reflex. And I also meant it, don't worry, it's not like I faked it. And kind of bent down and I went, love you. And then she was kind of like, because she was, she'd had a AAA and or aortic aneurysm that had burst, and she was basically just drifting away. And so she was in this kind of morphine state to help her from the baby. She was just like, love you too. And then I kind of walked out, and as I was going downstairs to the car to go home and have a shower, I got a phone call from Pam to say, come back now. And she'd kind of, I think basically it had then gone, and she was in, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a point where the body is still breathing and kind of moving, but it had ended. So I'd kind of missed the moment when it had ended, but I was there for when her heart stopped or whatever. But anyway, my point being that I will always treasure the fact that the very last thing that I said to my mum was love you, even after decades of us having a little bit of a fractured relationship and stuff. Whereas my sister, the last thing she said to her was, oh, Sheffield Wednesday lost last week. Anyway, have a great day, a great weekend, and I will see you either for another 5K every day when they kick back off again on Monday, or remember on Sunday there is the group row, 5 o'clock GMT on the Xer app, where if you look for the sunset row with RowAlong, there's a group row that happens. I live stream that to the RowAlong Live YouTube channel, not this one, the RowAlong Live channel, and I talk away a little bit more, well actually it's just exactly the same chat nonsense. But yeah, you're welcome to join in either on YouTube or download the trial of Xer. You can get 2 weeks for free. So you can download the trial and then you can use that to just kind of find out what it's like. Why not? imersURow, which has been running in the background, they also have a trial. So do check that out if because it's beautiful. I mean, look at the water shimmering away there. It's, in terms of a good looking app, this one is at like, it's called imersURow for a reason, because it's like immersive. But yeah, so do check that one out as well. And apologies to them for me messing it up. But like I said, I'll get in touch with them. I'm going to say goodbye now because this intro has been going on and on and on. Look after yourselves. Have a fantastic weekend or whatever you're doing this week, whatever. And I will catch you in the next one. Until then, row well, be well. Bye-bye.